In this video, we're going to be taking a look at ratios. Now you'll need to have your Go Math book out, your math journal, and a pencil. And you'll need to turn your Go Math book to page 149. So taking a look at ratios, let's look at the essential question. It's how do you use ratios to compare two quantities? So let's take a look at page 149 together and we'll answer that question. All right, so it says a ratio is a comparison of two quantities. It shows how many times as great one quantity is than another. So we can see two quantities meaning two separate items here, so stars and the moon. All right, and we can see, for example, the ratio of star-shaped beads to moon-shaped beads is a bracelet, and a bracelet is 3 to 1. All right, so what we can see here is write the ratio of moon beads to star beads. So it is important when you're writing ratios that you look at how the ratio has been asked. All right, so we can see star-shaped beads to moon-shaped beads. So what you can see here, since it's 3 to 1, you can see the star quantity was said before the moon quantity, 3 to 1. Now it's saying what is the ratio of moon beads to star beads. So we can see moon beads, there's 1. Star beads, there's 3, so it's 1, 2, 3. And like I said, it is important to know which quantity is said first. You have to write them in the order. So now it says write the ratio of moon beads to all beads. So we can see, first of all, moon beads, there's 1, so we'll write 1. And to all beads total, 4. So we have 1, 2, 4. All right, now let's take a look at letter C. If the bracelet has 2 moon beads, how many star beads does it have? So if the ratio is 1 to 3 moon beads, okay, now it's saying that there's 2 moon beads. How many star beads does it have? So you're just doubling the ratio. So we would see 2 moon beads, so that means there would be a total of 6 star beads there. All right, so let's take a look at letter D. It says if the bracelet has 9 star beads, how many moon beads does it have? And then how do you know? So let's take a look at this answer, and I want you to write it down with me. So it says 3 moon beads, and so it says 9 starred beads is equal to 3 groups of 3. Since there's 1 moon bead for every group of 3 star beads, the bracelet has 3 moon beads. So once again, 1 to 3 is the ratio. So 9 star beads, so there'd be a total of 9, so you would multiply that by 3, the star quantity, and then the moon quantity would be multiplied by 3 as well, so a total of 3. So we're going to take a look at the reflection, or the reflect section on 149. It says write a rule that you can use to find the number of star beads in a bracelet when you know the number of moon beads. Then write a rule that you can find the number of moon beads when you know the number of star beads. So we'll write this together. I have on the screen, it says to find the number of star beads, multiply the number of moon beads by 3. Why is that? Because the ratio is 1 to 3 or 3 to 1. Find the number of moon beads, divide that number of star beads by 3. Okay, so that's a way that you can tell how many moon beads and how many star beads are on the necklace there. Okay, number 2, let's take a look at that. It says write a rule that you can use to find the number of beads in a bracelet when you know the number of moon beads. So what we can see here is multiply the number of moon beads by 4. Okay, so that would be a rule that you could write with that. So let's take a look at 150 together. So it's saying writing ratios. So there's a few different ways that you can write ratios. It says the number and a ratio are called terms, and a ratio can be written in several different ways. So we have, for example, if we have 5 dogs and 3 cats, you could say 5 dogs to 3 cats. Or you could say the ratio 5 to 3. Or you can write a colon between the 5 and the 3, or you can write it as a fraction. So it's important to know that a ratio can compare a part to a part to a whole, or whole to a part. So when we're looking at part to a part, we're looking at the different quantities. 5 dogs, 3 cats, that's part to part. So we can see part to whole. So if we have part to whole, we're taking a look at 5 dogs compared to a whole entire group of animals. So it'd be 5 to 8 because there's 8 total items. Or whole to part. So we can see 8 whole amount to 5 dogs for this one. Alright, so let's take a look at letter A. It says to write the ratio of comedies to dramas in 3 different ways. So we can see comedies, 8, to dramas, 3. Now you have to write 8 first. The reason for that is because it's asking comedies to dramas. If it said dramas to comedies, then you would flip these two. But since it's comedies to dramas, you make sure that you write the terms in correct order. Okay, so that would be a part to a part. Now it says write the ratio to dramas to total videos in 3 different ways. So we have dramas, which is 8, to different videos. That means we add all of these together. 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 2 is 13, plus 1 is 14. So you have 3 to 14. You can write it 3 over 14 as well. Alright, so let's take a look at number 3. It says describe the relationship between the drama videos and the science fiction videos. So you can see the drama videos, there are a total of 3. Science fiction is 1. So we see the number of drama videos is 3 times the number of science fiction videos. If we're writing that as a ratio, which would be we could write it as drama videos to science videos, we could have 3 to 1 there is the ratio. Okay, let's take a look at number 4. It says the ratio of floor seats to balcony seats in a theater is 20 to 1. Does this theater have more floor seats or more balcony seats, and how do you know? So we can see ratio of floor seats to balcony seats, 20 to 1. So obviously floor seats. The reason for that, there are 20 floor seats for each balcony seat. So for every balcony seat there's 20 floor seats in the theater there. All right, let's take a look at number 5. And let's do this together. It says write each ratio in 3 different ways. So it says bagel chips to peanuts. So you can see bagel chips 3 to peanuts we could see as 1. So you could write the terms that way. Or you could write it as a fraction, 3 over 1. Or you could write it 3 to 1 there as the ratio. So that would be considered a part to a part. The reason for that, it's part of the different quantities there, so just part to part. So total party mix to pretzels. All right, so we can see here there's a total of 8 party mixes. So 8 party mix, so 8 party mixes to pretzels, which would be 3, 8 to 3. We can write 8 to 3. And then we could also write it 8 over 3 as well. Now what I would like you to do is number 7 all by yourself. So you have cheese, crackers to peanuts. You want to write that ratio 3 different ways, and when you're finished, I will show you the answer. So I want you to work on number 7 now. So you can see 1 to 1, 1 to 1, or 1 over 1 for the ratio, and that would be considered part to part as well. Okay, let's take a look at equivalent ratios. It says equivalent ratios are ratios that name the same comparison. You can find equivalent ratios by using a table or multiplying or dividing both terms of a ratio by the same number, which is very important. So equivalent ratios have a multiplicative relationship. So a ratio with terms that have no common factors is said to be in simplest form. So think about how you simplify fractions and so on, same way that you would simplify ratios as well. All right, so we can see you make 5 cups of punch by mixing 3 cups of cranberry juice with 2 cups of apple juice. How much cranberry juice and how much apple juice did you need to make 4 times the original recipe? Okay, so a way that you can do this is making a table. You can see cranberry juice and apple juice, 3 to 2 is the ratio. So if you want to make 2 batches of this, all right, you can see 6 to 4 is the ratio, and multiply it by 2. Multiply it by 3 to make 3 batches, and multiply it by 4 to make 4 batches there. So you have 12 to 8. So 12 to 8 ratio is equivalent to 9 to 6, 6 to 4, and 3 to 2. All right, so we can see right the original ratio and the ratio that shows the amount of cranberry juice and apple juice needed to make 4 times the original recipe. So we can see 12 to 8, I'm sorry, 3 to 2 was the original ratio, and to make 4 times that amount would be 12 to 8. So you can see what's simply going on here with the table. You're adding 3, adding 3, adding 3 for the cranberry juice, adding 2, adding 2, adding 2, adding 2 for apple juice. Why is that? Because the ratio is 3 to 2. So that's one way of doing it. Now another method of doing this is you can also multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. All right, so if you have 3 to 2, you can see there at the bottom that you can multiply numerator by 4, denominator by 4, and you have 12 to 8 as well for the ratio. So 2 different ways of doing that. Now let's take a look at number 8, and we'll do this together. It says write 3 equivalent ratios to the given ratio. Now there could be a lot of equivalent ratios for this. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do that. So I showed you how you can multiply. You can also divide if the ratio is not in simplest forms or simplest terms. So I have 8 to 10. I can divide both numerator and denominator by 2. That's going to give me 4 to 5 for my ratio. So that's one thing that you can do, is also divide. Now you can also multiply like I just showed you. So 8 to 10. What I can do is I can multiply both numerator and denominator by 2 there. So I can have 8 times 2 is 16. 10 times 2 is 20. So 16 to 20 as well. Now, since I have 4/5, I can even take a look at that ratio. Multiply that by 3. That's going to give me 12 to 15 as well for another equivalent ratio. All right, let's take a look at number 9 together. So we have 5 to 2 for my ratio. So what I could do is I could multiply that 5 to 2, both numerator and denominator, by 2. That's going to give me 10 to 4. All right, I can also multiply that numerator and denominator by 3. That's going to give me 15 to 6. And then I can also even multiply my numerator and denominator by 4. And that's going to give me 20 to 8. So there's a few different ways that you can write equivalent ratios. Now, what I would like you to do is to work on number 1. It says write a ratio that compares the number of dogs to the number of cats. And I would like you to work on this problem now. So you can see the ratio is 1 to 5 for the answer there. So let's take a look at number 7. It says 10 to 12. And what you need to do is write 3 equivalent ratios for the given ratio and circle the simplest form of the ratio. So you need to at least include the simplest form. So 10 to 12. And you can work on number 7 now. So for number 7, you can see I circled 5 over 6 for the answer. And then also remember with the finding equivalent ratios, as long as you multiply both numerator and denominator by the same number, you'll get the equivalent ratio. So 5 to 6, I multiplied both numerator and denominator by 4, 20 over 24. 5 over 6 multiplied numerator and denominator by 5, 25 over 30, 25 to 30 for that ratio. So let's wrap up with the essential question check-in. It says use an example to describe the multiplicative relationship between 2 equivalent ratios. It says the ratios 2 to 5, and 4 to 10 are equivalent. Each term in 4 to 10 is 2 times the corresponding term in 2 to 5. So this concludes the video on ratios. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.